guys, this is Paula back. We were supposed to be back to do the rainbow page, but I don't quite have everything together for that. And so there was something else I wanted to show you. We were talking about my different Christmas gifts yesterday, and I had told you that I was going to show you some things from my Christmas journal that I purchased from Laura Presley. She has a YouTube channel and it's under Laura Presley. So you shouldn't have any problems if you want to go see her and check her out. I haven't had a chance to really play with my stuff, and I got it out today and I thought, that is so cool. I'm going to show my friends how to make that. I know Laura wouldn't object to that. Now, I have made something very, very similar to it. I've made folios. I've made pockets out of folders out of cardstock and made pockets to put goodies in traveler's notebooks. And so, I mean, I knew exactly how to make it when I saw it, but I just thought it was different because I've never made it out of a file folder. And it's a green file folder, just like you see all the time. And I'm going to sit down here and hope that we can see what we're doing. Now, there's a lot to this. It's not something you would make every single day, but when you make it, you'd be smart to make a couple. That's what I've been doing, and I literally started on this at 2:30 this morning. I was having trouble sleeping, and so anyway, so we'll just play with it and see what we come up with, and hopefully we can get it done. I pre-cut everything except the file folder because I want to show you how to do that. And I stitched everything, and I'll just, once we get this file folder cut out, I'll just flip it over to the one that I made this morning that's partially made, and we'll put it together. So have your pencil ready and your paper ready if you want measurements. Now, I have no idea what the measurements are. I did my own thing, because it's just easier for me. And you may want to do the same thing, but I think it's important to know what size to make the file folder. Okay, so here we go. Now, I just took Laura's file folder. This was hers, and I just took it. I'm going to open it and show you. She did two little pockets inside, and she did a long stretched out zigzag. So I just took hers and I laid it down and used it as a pattern. I mean, that's pretty simple, and I'm going to show you. You want to there's one side that says the store here, Staples, so you just fold it over like this. Let's move this twine out of the way, or fibers I mean, and let me see if you can see that. I took up my glass mat so we wouldn't have any glaring into it, because I knew I'd need to see. Now you can see here where I have drawn around it already to save time. And so you go up to one side over here and it has a seam, and then in the middle it has some seams, and you'll have to make some of your own. So the side with the flap, I put up here where the seam was, and I measured it down from there. And I actually, you're going to have two seams to make like a folder that you could fill up. So this is how I did it. I lined it up here. I cut it on my cutter, and we'll do that. And then I had some left over and decided some other things I wanted to do. And we'll talk about those after we finish this, okay? Let me get my cutter up here. It's funny how when you look at something, you think, oh, now, I'm going to do it this way, or I'm going to do it that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes the world go round. Everybody being different. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off this one metal across the top there. And this is the side that had the fold. And because I brought it all the way up, just barely where I could cut it off, because it just is noisy. And I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to line up my pencil mark. Can you guys see that? Let's turn it this way. Now it's sideways. Beware, it's sideways so you guys can see. Now, hopefully I don't do something crazy and mess it up. Alright. I may have to bring it over and look at it, make sure I've got it lined up. Sorry. Noisy. It is noisy, ladies. I hope you guys are having a good day. It is freezing. We had a little bit of an ice thing happen last night. So, oops, I just hit the camera. Sorry, guys. Got my big old head sticking out here. Just want to line this up so that we don't have any trouble. It's really hard to see, I'm not going to lie, because it, you know, I did it with pencil, and yeah, we may have to cut the other end. Let's just cut the other end, because I can't get that one that close from this angle. Now, you want to be careful how you cut and all that so that you have some paper left over. You should be able to make everything I'm going to show you from this little folder. So save this. Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, we didn't get off too bad. Now, I'm still not happy that I can't cut this. And I'm thinking, why not? Because it'd be nice to have it out of the way. I think it's because I couldn't see from that angle where the end of it went. So, let me make sure they're both, it may be that they're both marked in a different spot. That's what it is. So, you know what? We're just going to cut it off with my scissors. Keep your fingers crossed that I can do this. So here is the small thing that we're going to make. Here is the folder. So we cut that portion off to make a third thing if we have time. Okay, so I'm just going to do my best to cut straight. So here we go. Okay. When you're done cutting this out, once I get this strip off, I'll use the cutter again so I can be sure I don't get anything crooked, because that would not be cool. So my doctor has been trying to get me off these crazy sleep, the particular one that I'm on, sleep medicine. Because I've tried everything over the counter. Nothing will help me sleep. The tea will not help me. The chamomile tea, or what is that called? I don't remember. But anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to freely cut this one because it's away from this little line. We can trash this one. Okay. And hopefully that's nice and straight. Okay, so we're going to bring our printer back over here, and I hope I can put it in this way. I think we've got enough length on here to do that. You know, you never know. You never know. Okay. And again, I'm going to have to stand up to see how this is going. So crazy. It's a different angle, you know, doing it that way, and your eyes just don't get it as well, or at least mine don't. They're kind of like, what are you doing? I might have to mark it with a little bit of a darker. Let me see if I can find it by doing this. Oh, there it is. It's still, it wants to do make a shadow, you know, which is kind of crazy. I cut this out the first time when I did it. I don't know what the difference is. I think it's right there. Yeah. But you have to line it up with the other side of your page and make sure it's straight too. I think we're going to be close enough that it's going to be okay. Yeah, once you get, this is the hardest part, getting it all straight, and we're just going to go for it. Let's hope we did it. Oh yeah, we were off, but it'll be okay. We were off about an eighth, a little less than an eighth of an inch. But it's not a big deal because, you know, you don't even really, I'm going to cut this one. I'll cut it in a minute because we're not dealing with that right now. Now the next thing you're going to do is get your corner rounder. I'm going to move the cutter out of the way for now. And you're going to round the corners. This is the outside, the darker of the two, you know, the one that was on the outside. And then you'll round these two corners. Or actually, you'll round all four corners. I've had this creative memory punch forever. Some days you don't know what it's going to do. Okay, now we got to do the folds, because we will have some folds, and let me make sure where I need to be here so I know I'm not out of camera. Okay. All right. Okay. Been waiting all morning to do this. Okay, there's a seam right here. Remember, it's the one that was close to that metal thing. So I want you to just fold that over. Make sure you line up your sides. And I need to give you the measurements of what I ended up with. I'll do that in just 1 second. Let me get this folded. And then we'll measure it. Watch it be some odd number. Okay. So this is a... Let's see. I'm trying to think what's... Let's start from... Okay, this side. I'm not as familiar with Kim Holtz ruler. I just haven't had it that long, but I like to cut with it. Okay, so it's 12. Let me get my pencil. 12 is the first part, and then we're going to move the ruler up and get the rest of it. 12 3/4. 12 3/4 is how long the whole folio is, okay? And the height is, let's see, let's get on the right side here. It would help, because really this is the most important thing to have measured correctly. Everything else you can do your own thing. 6, 7, 8. It's 7 3/4. Okay. Now, It might just be a hair over. It wasn't even at a line, so I could tell you what it was. You decide how tall you want it anyway, depending on the book you want. You know what I'm saying? So, either way, it's correct. Okay, so we have folded that one. I'm putting some Blistex on. My mouth is so... I've been taking the dog out, which I don't normally go out in the cold. And, so, yeah. So we're going to fold this one, and then we're going to come in about 1/4 of an inch and make another fold this direction. Okay? About 1/4 inch. Now, you're coming up with this on your own because there's not anything... There's not a fold already. You could score it if you want. I'm eyeballing it. We'll move it this way though so I can be across the whole thing. And I just kind of look at it and do about 1/4 of an inch by looking. And you still want to have it, your flap here even with the side of the file or the folio. I would say it's more like a folio. You could make this and do, you know, flaps off of it if you wanted to. Okay, so now you can see what we've got here. We have got it where it's kind of folded up. And it's about right at 1/4 of an inch for the 2 lines. You use the existing line and then you use this line, the line that you just made. Okay. All right, so we've got that there. Here it has a very prominent line. See, so you can take it under like this. So that can be your first fold. Your second fold, turn it this way towards you so you can see. There's several little fold lines, but you want the first one because it's the closest to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, which is probably exact, but that, you know, just do however you want it, however thick you want it. Okay, now I'm going to fold it together so you can see how it looks together. Okay, see, it's kind of like a little box, only you don't have to fold up the top and the bottom. And here's how it looks on the front. Here's your flap. It flips out. Got your rounded corners. Then you would ink it very well with a darker ink. I used Ground Espresso, okay, because I just really wanted it to pop off of there. Okay, and then you stitch around on the right side, which is the outside. You stitch around with your zigzag, and I just stretched it out a little bit both directions. So you can see here, I had folded mine wrong the first time, so don't look at my folding on this one. But what I would want you to do is stitch around the whole thing with your zigzag. Okay, now I'm going to set this book aside. I just wanted you to get the measurements and so forth, because I'll work on this at some other time. Okay, so it goes this direction, I think. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It depends on if you're right or left-handed. See, I would want this on the left and this on the right. So, however you decide you want it. So now I'm going to show you Lauren's. Is it Lauren or Laura? It's Lauren. I'm sorry. It's Lauren Presley. I'm terrible at names. I'm just going to tell you. Okay, so if you slide hers inside the one I zigzagged, you can see they're real close to the same size. And oops, I got it upside down. So she did fold hers in from the other side. But you will see right here that she added these 2 little pockets. Okay, now, that's what we're going to do next. You zigzag these pockets and you ink these pockets. You know, you could go ahead and attach them before you You zigzag, which is what she did. I did it the opposite. I zigzagged, and we're just going to add them to the project. Okay, now, so I didn't want mine green, so I did them a grid that's kind of a brownish color, and then I zigzagged around them. I also added some craft behind it to make it stronger, because you know, when you start tugging on things, you want it to fit. And I left, let me pull it up a little bit. I left the zigzag showing down here. I didn't cover up the zigzag. You can, maybe I want to. I'm going to cover up my zigzag. Now you want to line that up to your pocket, or your give me a second. You want to line your pocket up to the fold. You know, the double fold. You want it to be the bottom line of the double fold. And we're going to add it right here. Make sure it's straight. Now I'm going to give you measurements. Boy, that one didn't sew out very straight, did it? Let me see if I got a better one. You know, I always do double everything the first time I make it, because, yeah, that one's the wrong side. Let me see which one I like the best. Let's use this one. All right, and over here on the inside of the flap, you're going to do the other one. And see if you add the rounded edges up. Yeah, you do want it to be all the way over. And so let's measure. I cut out a big rectangle first, okay? And I measured it. Let's see. I'm on the wrong side. I love how I do that. Where is the inches? Right here. Yeah. There they are. Okay, so you want to cut the long direction at just slightly over 4 inches. Okay, and then the width will be, you want to cut it into like a rectangle before you do anything else with it. 1, 2, 3, just a little over 3.5. Like I said, this is the first time I've pulled this out to measure. And so you want to keep the whole bottom here. So when you lay it on your cutter, I'm going to show you how you do it. So you've got a complete rectangle, okay, right here, and you're going to put it down here, and you just want to bring it up, and you just kind of tilt it until you have the cut line at the very bottom of the width of the rectangle. Okay, and then you just put it up here, and you leave at the top. Let me see approximately what that is. Where is my ruler? It's under this. This is really simple. Once you've made one, I think it'd be easy to knock them out, you know? Okay, so at the top, the amount you'll keep at the top is 1 3/4 across here to here. And then you're going to round this corner and round this corner, and not the other two. So basically, if you're looking at it straight up and down, you round the one that comes around and cuts off, and then you round the one that fits in the corner of the book. Okay, and you need 2 of those. Zigzag around them if you want to add some strength to the back. Just cut the same measurements, cut around them. That's why I zigzagged them together instead of sewing them into the book as I zigzagged on the book, was because I wanted to make sure I got that extra strength. Okay, so that's going to work. So we're just going to add our Fabri-Tac, or Fabri-Fix, whichever one you have. Let me make sure we're still in camera. I don't have my normal mat down here with all the lines. So you're going to go around the bottom and up this curve right here, and that's as far as you're going to go as far as gluing it down. Now, she did not glue hers. You do not have to glue yours. You can. It's better, I believe, if you sew it in as you're sewing the outside of the book. But I just did it this way because I wanted to double up the layer. Okay, now we're going to go right here. Go all the way down to the bottom. Make sure it's very straight along the bottom. Make sure you can close your book. Yeah. And of course you're going to have to deal with the glue leakage like we always do. What else is new, right? This is why I would sew it right here, is the main reason I would sew it, just not to have to mess with the glue. Not have to deal. And you want to make sure it's very flush with the bottom of the book right here. Get all the excess glue off. Okay. Make sure both ends are staying flat with the bottom. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to flip it around for just 1 second and get this big blob of glue right here. I will go back after we glue the other one and get any excess glue off. I don't know how well this folder holds up to a glue, an adhesive remover, but fixing to find out. We'll do it all whenever we're done getting both of them in. Okay, so flip it back around where the top is, you're looking at the top. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to glue here and up here. I haven't seen my kids. I haven't talked to them. I told my husband, I said, I think they forgot all about their mama sitting over here with her YouTube channel. They're just both so busy. My son has his own business. My daughter works at the church, and she is constantly busy. And then the kids have activities and stuff like that. And I don't know if Charlie has auditioned for Wizard of Oz yet or not. I know Lucy will make it because she's pretty good. She did her first solo last time, and she blew us all away. And she did the choreography right along with it. Didn't get off beat one time. It was so cute. She did the song from the finale of Hairspray. Okay, now here, and it was actually the finale of the show they were doing, so that made it even that much fun. She liked, you know, being the last one. And anyway, so this one went down better without spreading 10 tons of glue. Just make sure everything is even. And if you want to clip these on to make sure they hold, I'm going to dig my clips out real quick. Don't look at my messy, this is my little junk bowl. It has blades to cut, chipboard, and it has clips, extra clips that I have a binding books box. That was hard to roll off your tongue. And I use it when I bind books, but I have extra clips here if I need them for anything. And sometimes when I do pockets and stuff like this, that I really want to make sure it adheres well. You would have had better flow of your pocket, you know, if you didn't have to glue it, which is another reason I would. So, do as I say, not as I do. At least in this video. I think you'll get better results, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to, let's put it right here, and I'm just going to clip it where the glue is, just for a few minutes. And then I'll go back and put some on the other side. just till we know it dries. You know, this stuff dries pretty quick. And put one over here. While this is drying, we'll go over and clean up the glue on the other side. And then we're going to move on, and we're going to put on the, you're going to need 3 circles. I'm going to look and see exactly what size it is because I can't remember. 7/8 is what I'm using, but you can use whatever size you have. And you're gonna punch a hole in it, and I didn't get quite in the center there, but you're gonna glue 3 circles together. Make sure they're dried and all nice and even before you punch the hole. Ink around the top one and have it on standby with a grommet. Okay, that's going to be the next thing. I got glue on my file folder. Man, I got messy with the first one. It's kind of how it is when you do something the first time, you know. It's like, what did I do? I'm going to get the glue off this corner. We didn't get any seepage over there, so I think that's worth some applause for me. Since I'm the one that does it all the time. Okay, I got ink all over me because I have been, in my next video, hopefully will be the rainbow. If it's not, it will be showing you the book I'm going to do after. You know, I'm going to do a page, I'm going to do a book, and then I'm going to do a page, I'm going to do a book. Because I want the rainbow book to end up in the summer. Because it just looks so summery when you're done with the plans on how to do the book itself. Okay. Now, I think I might have some more of these little... Whoops! Sorry, guys. I might have a few more. They're smaller, but that's all right. Got to move this thing along or we'll lose minutes, right? Okay. I'm going to put 4 around the main points. You know, the corners and really on this one, this is the only place we can put them because you can't get on this other side right here. All right, so we've got this clipped on. So let's move on over here, and we're going to do, this is how I did mine. She used fibers, and I used kind of a burlap twine. And this is her. She used cardstock, and I used 3 layers. She used 2 layers, it looks like, and I used 3 layers of craft. She got her circle off. I got my circle off. I don't feel so bad because she did a really good job. And she tied her fibers around. So what I did is before I punched my grommet in, I put this twine around it. And what I did is I didn't measure the twine. I just made sure it could wrap around the book a couple times. So I'll measure it real quick so you guys can have the measurements. Just remember that you need to write this stuff down. That's why I'm giving them to you. That way I don't have to go back and try to figure it out again. Which I would, but I would rather not have to. So that's going to be, I think, almost 13 inches. Where's my ruler? I'm standing here like dumbfounded. I'm like, where's my ruler? So this will be 12.5 or thereabouts. So you go 12.5 and then 11. So you've got 23 inches doubled. Okay, this is doubled. And I just put the loop around this little thing, and then I put the grommet in. That way it would hold it down really well. On the other end of the string, we might as well discuss this now. On the other end of the 23-inch doubled string, I tied a knot. Okay, and then I went back and I decided later I wanted to put an old key. So here's the original knot. I just double knotted it here where the key is. And when you wrap that around your book, it will cause some weight and keep your twine on better. Okay, so now let me get the one we just did earlier that we want to put the grommet on. The one we cut out together. Okay. So, where did that go? Here it is. First thing we want to do is poke the hole with our crocodile. I'm going to use a 3/16 size hole, and this time I'm going to try to get it straight. It's hard to tell. When you got it under there, you can't see around the whole circle very well. Well, that wasn't too bad. For me, that was not too bad for me. Okay, so now we just want to slap some ink on here. Around the whole thing. And I ink on the edges, but I also bring the ink up on the circle itself. Okay, so this is the one we just did. Now what I do with our twine, here's our twine. At first I'm not going to put the key on, okay? I'm just going to do the twine. So here it is. It's knotted on one end and it's got a loop on the other. You just pull it out straight because we want to put the straight loop on here. Oh, but we need to poke a hole in this as well. Oh, I'm knocking everything over. What else is new? There's never enough room. Never enough room. Okay, so I'm hoping that this is going to be... You got to come out up far enough that you can leave room to zigzag. Okay? And you want to make sure you're kind of halfway down the book. That is not as critical. You can put the tie on here anywhere you want. So I'm not too concerned with measuring. I got pretty close to center, didn't I? What do you know? That's unusual for me. Okay, so now we're going to put this circle on here. Run the grommet through the circle. Sorry if my hands are covering it. I'm trying to... There we go. So we've got it in the grommet. All right, now find the end of your loop here, which is right there. We're going to put it around the grommet the best you can. And really, there's not, you're just going to put it on here like this. And then you've got that in there. You can put it in around the grommet after you put it down if you want. That way you can make sure your loop is at the very end. Okay, now this is the part you hope goes right because you've got that twine in there, or the burlap string. You got to switch your thing to do the grommet, and mine never wants to stay in the little thing for me. The reason I'm saying to put the twine or the burlap twine under there is because you want to make sure this grommet doesn't put the circle on so tight you can't get it under there. And it does. It works great. I just got to find the end of the machine. Usually you can set it right on there without any trouble. Let's see what well, it's because the grommet's not through the book. There we go. Goodness sakes. It's hard to do things you can't see real well. Okay. All right. Now, get it up there. Get it in place. I don't know if you guys can see or not. I'm going to try to fix it where you can. There we go. I love this part. The grommet's always laying over. I have to stand up to hook this thing. You wouldn't believe how bad I was at this when I first started doing books and so forth. Okay, so there we go. Now this would all be stitched. Your pockets would be in before you do this point. But I'm just wanting to demonstrate with this one. I will zigzag it later. Okay, so you're going to wrap it around. Say we've got everything sewn in and zigzagged. Going to wrap it around. And then when you get to the end, I decided I wanted to add an old rusty key. If you look around, people sell these for like 50 cents or a quarter or whatever. I saw a big dish of them when I went to Collinsville last weekend, but they just weren't old enough for me. I like them to look like they're old keys. I like them to have some rust on them. So you're going to double knot this portion. And I went ahead and left my other knot on here because I liked the way it looked. Okay. All right. So now you've got this like this, and you realize that you can't go any further. So I hold this out here to keep it tight, and I just slip my key under all of this. And then you slip your key, you twist around and you slip it at least twice. And you could, just depending on what you want. Now, in this particular case, my key is pretty long. Probably what I would do if this happened is I would shorten this a little bit and move the key up. But I'm going to wait till I'm all done with this part of the book. Okay, so this book, imagine it's an imaginary thing. This book we are considering finished because here's our pockets for this book. And so after we get the pockets in, all the zigzag done, it's complete. Okay, so I'm going to set it aside. We're not going to deal with it anymore. We're not dealing with you anymore. Okay, I'm going to put the grommet crocodile to the side. Now, I had decided whenever I was cutting out my my big folio that I wanted to make, and we're going to make this together. I wanted to make, with the extra stuff here, I wanted to make this flip up paper holder. And I did add a little pocket inside. And you want it to be, it's going to have double folds here too, like the folio does, Going to be doubled here and double folds there. And it makes it kind of look like a little wallet or something. Ignore this mistake I made right here, but zigzag around the whole thing on the outside. It's the first thing I did. Now, except when I added this pocket, I didn't. I did use a straight stitch, and I just cut out this little pocket, which was a last minute thing. And it's 2.5, no, it's 2.25, no, it's 2 inches. Scratch all of that. This is 2 inches tall and 3 inches wide. And then I just put a little circle, half moon there, and then inked around it all. And after all the zigzagging was done, I came back and put it in. But you want to make sure the top flap is up here and you have it in the upright position, because when you fold it up, it's going to be hanging down. So it's just going to hold like a tag or a couple little stickers or whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so that part was done. Now, this, let me tell you the measurements on this green folder, which came from the leftovers. The width is just slightly over 3.5 inches. And the length of the whole contraption is just slightly over 10. Okay. Now, these little folds here, you can see I did a little bit wider. I was just really not paying attention because I knew it's going to have paper in it. I wanted it a little bit thicker. So it goes like this. All right. When I sewed this little pocket in, it left marks on my front of my little folder. Made me sad. But I went ahead and took some map. I kind of incorporated map to the book. I wanted to put the grid on the pockets on the inside of the folio because you could take notes or whatever. So this is going to be the upright position now. See, because here's your flap. So this is, let me give you the size of this. It's 3 inches wide and 3 1/4 tall. And then I just stitched around it before we put it on. I'm going to glue it on. So let me get that on real fast. That way you want to make sure your map is in the upright position. I may have already said that. I didn't double the paper on this. I just left it, you know, it's not a heavy cardstock. It's one of the thinner cardstocks, but it's a book full of maps and grids and, you know, stuff like that. Ledgers. I believe I got it at, let me look and I can tell you. I got it at Hobby Lobby, I believe. And it is, it's just called Maps, Texts, and Ledgers. It's got 180 sheets and it's, I'm trying to see who it's made by, but it's not, let me see that. DCWV. DCWV. And that's the name that's on it. And it came from Hobby Lobby. That's where I get most of my papers. There and Michael's. I order a lot online too. I have to be honest, I do. Alright, and you want to put this down inside the zigzag. It'll look better. You don't want to lose the zigzag that you did there. And this is not a pocket, so you glue the whole thing down. It's just going to be a decoration. And I got it in the right position, up. Now, so the next thing we're going to do with this, and I have not even practiced this, but let's put the paper in first, and then we'll go back and do the closure. Okay, so I just took 4 sheets and folded 4 sheets of scrap tea stain paper, got it all nice and straight, and then I opened up this lower flap, and just like we do so many other books, I put it right here. Now, I want to staple. I always staple before I cover it with some kind of print. I always staple this on first. Okay, so that's going to be the back. So I'm going to put it over the top. I always leave a little bit of a hangover there. You don't have to. See, like that. So I'm going to lift this front flap. Let me think for a second. Nope, I'm going to leave them both. Fold both flaps down. This is how I usually do it. And go to the end with your tiny attacher, then to the middle, and then to the other end. And so you've got 3 staples that are not quite centered. Okay, and then you're going to put it on here, and you are going to make sure you don't go past this fold line. But you want to take it up and make sure everything folds down up on it before you glue it. Yeah. So we're just going to glue it right across there. I'm just going to leave it laying there, and we're just going to lift this up and see what happens. And actually, I think I'm just going to put the glue on the back. I hope you guys can see okay. I'm sorry if you can't. Now this paper, you will just want to measure inside the size of where your zigzag is. I'll tell you what mine is, but I think it will vary from little pamphlet or book or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now, here we go. We've made something similar to this before. This is nothing new to any of us. And of course, the glue is seeping a little bit. But that's all right. We'll let it dry. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. And look at all that glue. I always get glue happy on stuff like this because I don't want it to come loose, you know, as people handle it. And I'm going to take some of those clips that we put on the folio pockets, and I'm going to put them here on the end if I can get my hands to open. Sometimes these things are so hard to open that I have to use different parts of my hand than I would normally. Okay, at least we know we'll have something holding it down, and then we'll clean the glue up. So while this is drying, we'll go back to this other one. So here is the blank one. You would cut it out around the corners and do your folds just like I showed you on here. These are about a 1/2 inch, but you can still do them a 1/4 inch. I made mine more like a little box. Okay, so we're going to bring this back over and take these clips off and clean up any gushy glue. I don't think we have any, but you always want to check. I just don't like the glue on there. I don't want something sticking together after it gets to someone's home, and I don't want to be responsible for that, them being disappointed. I like my subbies to be happy. Okay, just a little bit right here. We got most of it a while ago, so just gonna make sure I get that last little bit. Now, I would take my glue dauber, my ink dauber, and go along the edge just to make them look like they blend a little bit. And they do. This is lots of fun. Laura, thank you for including it in my kit. I really had, I had to try it. And it's just something you want to share with everybody because it's so much fun. Now, if I'm gonna move this. If you want, you can just put some papers in here or whatever. You could put that pocket, but it'd be a little thick. But I'm gonna show you what I recommend. We're gonna do our closure on the other one in a minute, but I put that one up higher, didn't I? We'll just let this one be open from the left. And that way it's the shorter side is on top and this side is right there. Yeah, that's why my measurement with my key was a little bit different. Now this one's finished. Of course, I didn't hold it tight while I was doing my key. I've seen Wendy do the thing with the key before, and I loved it. And I've been meaning to do it for some time because I have all these keys. So you just want to slide your key under, up, and under again. And you might have to play with it to get it exactly like you want it. And you might want to use twine and not have a key at all. You could put a charm. You could put anything there. Okay, so that is done. The next thing we have to do is we've got this gluing right now, and then we'll put the grommet on it. Let's see. I think this is the grommet. Who knows? I've got stuff everywhere on my desk. This one will tie around. She did not have one of these in. Well, she had something similar. She had this little box, which I've made these before, but it's been a long time. Okay, and she lined it with this cute little vintage page and some little tags. She got little tags in here. Okay, But I am going, she did make this. She made this with her extra green, and because this is a different print and cardstock. So she did one of these with some of her extra file folder, and she did put something on the back. So I cut out two pieces, the green and a cardstock, which mine was map, and you cut it at 5. It's 5 inches tall, and it is 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so you'll cut both those pieces. Let me see if I can find the one that's not put together yet. That might help a little bit. Okay. She did do a few things different compared to me, but mostly I was a copycat. Okay, so this is the one I did. Okay, and my machine got crazy right there, but that's all right, because I wasn't sure if I was going to glue this down or if I was going to just slip it into one of the pockets inside the folio, which I thought would look cute. And I like to ink this part on the back. Whenever the needle goes through, it shows the guts of the paper, and I don't like that. I've told you guys that before. I don't like the way that looks, because it looks like your machine's chewing up your, and it is basically. Not completely, but partially. All right, so that's how it ends up looking. This is how hers looked when she was done. How cute, right? All right, and she made her slit different, and then put 2 tiny tags here, and then 2 bigger tags at the top. And you also punch a hole with your circle punch, and it kind of gives these, she's got rounded tags in here, so it kind of gives them a clean look, which is fun. So this is one I did on the front, and this is the back. Okay, so we're going to carry on and make this one. Let me see how many minutes we have left. Oh, we don't really have time to do it, but I gave you all the measurements, and I gave you the measurements for the outer portion. Let me give you these. 3.5 tall, 2.5 wide. Okay, for that. And this is how it's going to glue on. You're going to put that one on the back. Let me get it over here. Okay. This is the front. You're going to put this one on the back. Ink everything well. And then you will zigzag this. Or, wait a minute. Don't zigzag it till, I didn't get that straight. Don't zigzag it until you've got everything where you want it. Because you can zigzag it together, and it'll look better. Okay, so you're going to take the back off, basically. You're going to lay the back to the side right here while you zigzag all this other stuff together. Okay, so you're going to put this on here, just kind of center it, kind of want these to line up, and then you're going to take this little pocket and line it up as well. Now, before you stitch the green to the back portion, you go in and you zigzag these two, just like they are, no glue, okay? And then you'll end up with that center. And then you put wrong sides together on the back. I'm gonna lay these down. Wrong sides together, then you zigzag around the outside, okay? And this is what you end up with. And then you make your tags. You can make your tags however you want. I did, oh, that's not the one I want. This one for the back. Let me grab mine that's already done so I can show you. I did this one for the back. If you know you're going to glue it down somewhere, you don't even have to add this back to it, because you do have to work to get the tag down in there. But this one came in a pocket, so I didn't do the rounding thing. I didn't have the right length, I didn't have the right punch, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So here is the second tag. And you just measure what size tag you want by how much height and width you have in your pocket. And then I put a couple small. I need to see if I got a different. Nope, they're both the same color, it looks like. Okay, here we go. I just put two different shape, and these came from Tim Holtz mini shapes. And there you go. This is what you end up with. I mean, you can, if there's some way you want to decorate it. I just left it as grommets because I do like that look. So let's get everything over here real quick. We've got our folio done. Oh, we didn't get our closure on the one thing. Well, crud. I'm sorry, guys. The closure is, we're going to open this up and put everything that we can inside. Okay. All right. And this is how the one she made me came. I think it came with one of these inside it. And there was tags over here. So we'll just throw some tags in here just for now. Okay. So this is what you've got when you're done. How cute, right? And I just, when I saw that, I knew immediately I wanted to show you guys. I was so excited. And this was one of the things that attracted me to Laura's book. So it's Laura Presley, and she does have a YouTube channel. I don't know how often she does her channel, but and you just want to put your key around a couple times. And the weight of the key, if you have to do it 3 times, that's fine too. However you like it. So there you go. I like the way that looks. Now, you could use a different twine and use a key still. So it would be up to you. So I'm going to bring this over here real fast. Take these clamps off. Now we have our paper. And I'm going to put a couple little tags in here just to demonstrate. I probably would do, you know, a bigger tag. But this little pocket down below your paper pad is a little pocket for tags or whatever. You flip this forward, flip this down, and you can either pin it. You know what would really be cute is to put one of those Tim Holtz little pins on it. Let me grab it. No, I don't have time. I'm sorry, guys. But you know what I'm talking about. It will clip on just like one of these. Or you can do a closure and do it exactly how we did the closure on the folio. But you could put one of Tim's clips right there. And I think that would look cute. All right, guys. We've got it done. We've got it done. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'm going to lay that right there. Kind of looks odd, doesn't it? How about we put it over here? Anyway, that's the 3 that we made. I've been working on them all day. I'm about to get ready to cut the paper for the first Easter book. It's the Tales of Peter Rabbit, I believe. I don't have it right in front of me. But I've been making tags for that today, too. And I don't have them finished, but I'll let you see some of them real quick. I stenciled some. I haven't even inked them. I'm doing 3 Easter books. One is about a yellow duck. Here's using a doily. And I don't like this ink. It's Lawn Fawn. I'm not crazy about it. It's blotchy. I've stamped twice on here. And you can still see that it's blotchy. Forget that. I'm blowing raspberries now. It's blotchy. But I also have some others that I did in one of my early videos that's real colorful and Easter-like. Oh, and you got to see this. And then we're going to go. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. I'd love to have you be a part of our group. How cute are those? I'll bring out another one. Maybe that has a little bit of a, oh, that's not the right one. I love the lace on the bottom. This came with my die cutting machine, the Genie. And it was one of the free things that came with it. So I'm going to put reinforcers around it because, you know, the die that came with the Sidekick had reinforcers. And this fit in the Sidekick. So I was happy about that. I like the little bit of girliness. All right, guys. See you next time. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.